What's up, everybody? It's Eve. Follow me on Twitter and YouTube for space recordings and special live programs. 2024, we're doing things a little different if you haven't peeped game by now. So yeah, this is your chance. You can do it now if you want. Hit the bell here on YouTube at JustEveB or find me on X at Justice, 4, Just Us. That's JUSTICE, 4, JUST_US. And if you feel so inclined, support my channel and the work we do over here. The Cash App and Patreon links are in the description. Black first.
Supplemental learning for your mini. But you can learn too. Don't send your mini into the belly of the beast unarmed. Courses, practical math, language, the code, our story, and more. An institution founded by us, dedicated to us and our fight for justice. Here you will learn ways to combat the system using the same information they are trying to keep away from you. Welcome to FBA Sunday School.
If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. If you're not going to speak up, you're the ones who do. Vampires, they prey on your fears and stay away. Vampires, they prey on your fears. Control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. Don't let them suck you. Control your atmosphere. Distraction away from me. I am you and control your atmosphere. Don't let them take your energy. Don't let them suck your energy. It's a distraction away from me. I am you and you are me.
What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. It is Friday, August 23rd. I don't know what coast you're on, but where I'm at, it's about 9:30. Sorry, I'm late, but it's Friday. School's about to start, at least for us. School might have already started for y'all's minis. I hope you had a good first week of school. Tonight, remember Fridays, I try to keep the shows specific to a certain topic, and Fridays we have to protect the minis from predators. And in the news are, well, some of y'all's favorite predators, the Tate brothers. They are, well, I guess in the news again because of all of the shady stuff going on at their houses and with their businesses. And I thought it'd be a good time to have a discussion of sorts. So I invited my sister, Taisha, to join the conversation, not necessarily because she's familiar with the Tate brothers, but she is a mama times two. And I think there's too many people who don't have children or who give a damn about children speaking about the future of Black America, at least what we need to do and how we avoid certain pitfalls. Taisha, are you there?
Hey sis, I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Happy Friday. Thanks for joining me.
Happy Friday.
So like I was telling them, I know I hadn't really gone into the topic with you per se as much as when we were talking earlier in the week, it was, I don't know, I guess we kind of started talking about the children and just how impressionable they are. All of the different energies that are able to kind of sneak in through the cracks, whether it's TV, the internet, the radio, other people that they're around, right? And you've got children at two very different age, well, it's a huge age gap, right?
Yes, I have a 19-year-old and a 1-year-old.
Right. And look, see, that is the beauty of the Black woman. We can do that relatively easy. Other women are having the hardest time having children, and y'all might hate me for saying some of the things that I'm saying tonight, but my thoughts are my own. They are mine. But I am just Eve. I've never tried to act like I know everything, right? I know what I know. And I know that there are people out here with more information, more knowledge, more expertise, more life experience, right? So I can't ever come to any topic really as the be all end all. But what I do know is that as a mom, uh, all of my children kind of step. So to you having children at two opposite sides of the, I keep wanting to say spectrum because it's a boy and a girl, but
Well, yeah, I think I have like what is it? Gen Z and a Gen Alpha. I think something like that.
Right.
I think that's
So,
it.
but I mean, things have to be different now than it
Yes,
was back then, and then you
it
have a girl
should.
now. So, can you just kind of give me a little bit, or give us a little bit of differences that you're seeing being a parent now versus 20 years ago, essentially?
Yes, absolutely. It is definitely it's still, I would say, I've gotten better. Like a lot of my peers, they have a grandchild that's my daughter's age. It's kind of funny. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready to be a Gigi or a grandma, but to be a mommy again and apply what I've learned, because with our son, I was really naive in the world. And then very early on, that's when I found it was really important and that I did not know how to protect us. And, although they put that, on the husband, on dad as the protector, well, our situation was different. We were active duty. So at times I would be 6 months, 7 months by myself where, I had to take on that role. And then now it's like I can really, hand it over to my husband, but still it's like, okay, we have to protect our children, knowing what we know now, the threats with our food, water, the Black Mirror, the television. It's not just stranger danger with the van with candy. The stranger danger is everywhere. And it is a full-time job, but I take it and I look at it this way. Human children are the most defenseless animals. When you think of other animals in nature, some of them are born with, the ability to walk within hours of being born, the
Oh, absolutely.
ability, teeth within, a couple of weeks, able to be independent, regulate their body temperature, have fur. Ours doesn't. So we have this job of protecting them. And I take that with pride, Mama bear all day.
Yeah. And that's real. And I might even show some clips from nature, because I do think that, well, this is a newer thought. It's not a brand new thought for me, but just in the past, when I would speak with our elders, and specifically Mr. Fuller, he would always, in the three conversations that I had with the man, right, he said that I'm making things too complicated. Like everything is a lot simpler than I'm making it. And I find that people overcomplicate things with their feelings, right? So if things just are, then there is a way to be. If you want to continue to be here, we can take our best examples from nature, because uninterrupted nature is perfect. I mean, it'll even create conditions to have a wildfire, right? And then the old will get burnt up, and then, oh my goodness, all of these new seeds start to germinate and erupt through the soil, because it needed the heat from the flame to even go through the process. Nature is pretty spectacular to me.
Yes, I learned from nature with, the birth of our daughter, having a home birth, because I needed to not only protect myself, but protect her from, the racism that happens in labor and delivery and OBGYN care. So the safest place to birth was right here at home. And I did that to show everyone else that you can do it, and please do it.
Yes, ma'am. My hat is off to you. the last birth that I had was not at home. It was at the hospital, but it was unmedicated, unassisted for the most part. I
Go ahead.
didn't have to. It was very strange though. um, and I find that having 5 but only having 4 births, I feel like I've been cheated in a way. Like I haven't necessarily experienced all the different ways that you can have a baby. I didn't have that. My water broke at the grocery store, and then, oh my god, I gotta pay. What do you do? Or the baby didn't come in the car. On the way to the hospital. I think planning takes a takes a takes a stage when it
And with
comes.
that is all Hollywood. I think we should do a video coming up just highlighting some Hollywood births because it was not like that at all. And I think that's what gets other women, all like in panic mode and in fear that they can't do it. They need to
Mhm.
go and have a doctor
Right,
pull the
right.
baby's head out. You need
It's
to
the
be in
fear
the
monger.
hospital. Yeah, you need to be on that hospital bed laying on your back, which there is a major artery that runs down your back, and the baby lies on that. And that's what restricts the blood flow to both you and baby, which sends the monitors off the chart. And next thing you know, you're being wheeled in for a C-section. It's common sense.
Absolutely. I mean, I remember learning about King Louis the 16, 14. I get my Roman numerals mixed up, but this king, he had a weird fetish about watching women give birth. So because it was normal to birth in a chair, in a seated position, he is the one of the founders of this birth on your back situation.
Yes.
You can get a
And
better
and
look.
and what perfect segue to lead us into our topic because it's about protecting the minis and those, like this individual that's sick, twisted, and perverted that masquerade as kid friendly and stuff like that we really have to pay attention to.
Absolutely, absolutely. Let me pull up this one clip that I would like to share with the family. I see there's a couple of you guys in the room. If you generally like what I have to say, you might like tonight. You might get in your feelings. I'm not going to sit here and say that what I am going to talk about tonight is going to make you feel good on the inside, but I do think and have always been a champion and cape wearer for uncomfortable conversations. I really think that that's how you move people, especially if things need to be done. It's a lot of people who bitch about what should be done or what could be done, and they ain't busting a grape. All right, I think you can see my screen. All right, cool. Let's see. Here we go. No, I think I muted it.
Yes, it's up.
I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever the law is in America. 18?
It's 18 usually. You get married at 16.
All right, in Romania, 16. Sorry.
Yeah.
So if I'm fucking all these 18-year-old women, blah, blah, blah.
16.
All right, in Romania, 16. So I'm fucking all these 16-year-old women or 18-year-old women, whatever.
So let's just start there. To the chat, I'm going to be asking questions. If you're there and able to respond, I think that'd be cool. If you want to respond in the comment section, that's cool too. But is that okay? Let's start there. At what age are the baby girl minis, the girl minis, the girls, the young women, or not necessarily matured females? When is it okay? What is the age? And are we only using the government's definition of age of consent, or is it something else? Taisha, you're a little, you like my big sister, but not by a lot, right? It's not this huge gap between us, but maybe things were different in the middle of the country than it was on the coast.
Negative. Either way you look at it, it is disgusting. I just shared on X, formerly known as Twitter, about a male who impregnated 10 or 11-year-old in the state of Ohio. That's where I'm from. And him and along with the parents took the girl across state line into Indiana for an abortion. And that's why I will always be against that, because it's about getting rid of evidence. So I post that over there. But
oh, wow, that's deep. I've
And
never, ever, ever, ever heard anybody bring it up like that, Taisha. Can you just bring that back around for us
oh
one?
yes, there is I believe he's like a Central or South American national illegally dwelling in the state of Ohio. He's currently incarcerated, but he impregnated. He was I forgot his name. I think it's like Gerdes Fuentes or something like that. And he impregnated a 10-year-old girl, and he took her along with the parents across the state line to Indiana to get an abortion to get rid of the evidence. But the investigation still found him guilty of that. I forget his name, but this happened, I believe it's either Dayton or Columbus, Ohio. But that's
His
just
name
to
is, you were right, Fuentes. You're right. His first name is like Gerson. I have it on the screen for you guys.
yeah.
Y'all are just gonna have to deal with my ads. I don't have an ad blocker and I don't have the capacity to figure that shit out right now. But I am not pro-choice. I am pro common fucking sense. Like if the baby is going to kill you, then maybe you make a decision about that. Ectopic pregnancies do happen, right? But that's not 50%, 60%, 40%, 30. That's not a huge number in the people who are getting these abortions. No, it's a lot of people who are
like this right here, and but they come into our community and find the low-hanging fruit, Laquanda over there, and tell her like, you really can't afford this because you work at Safeway or wherever, you need this. And it's bullshit to make Black people the face of that, when the recipients of it, those who are seeking it, are not us. It's those like Gerdes Fuentes who and the parents of that girl that want to discard evidence because a crime has been committed.
Exactly. That's a hell of a point. To all you pro-choicers out there, have you ever considered that these rapes that you're saying need to be handled is evidence in the crime that you are wanting to get justice for? I'm not sitting here saying that you need to have your rape baby. I'm not. Because I don't know what. I have no clue.
It's not even that. When you think of a 10-year-old, I'll put it out here. I began to menstruate at age 12. So anyone going after young girls, you they don't even know what her 28, 32-day cycle is. And you can only conceive while you're ovulating. That's what the cycle is. And because we have a lot of stupid people out here, and because the pharmaceutical industry is making their money off of dumb women who don't know how to practice fertility awareness, why prescribe dangerous blood clotting, cancer-causing drugs to women who can only get pregnant a short span in their life, but only a limited time throughout the month, versus men who can, produce and produce every day for a longer span in women. So it's a stupid way of tricking women into becoming lifelong junkies in the eugenics movement.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I believe, right? So if someone says they believe, you're just going to have to go that that's how they feel. And there might not necessarily be enough evidence that supports you believing or feeling the same way. But I believe Kamala is one of those lifelong eugenics supporters because of having access to such places and just the lifestyle that she was living to afford her the opportunity to be in the position she's in today. But I don't have any evidence of that. I just know that she capes real hard for killing babies, and she don't got no Black babies. And I don't know that you can do the things. She said she was out there on them streets. I don't know if you'd be on the streets for a certain amount of time without having a baby, but I digress there. My main thing is age of consent. At what age are the girls able to consent? And I know some of y'all are watching tonight's show saying, well, why are you tagged the business broadcast in this? He's not Andrew Tate or Tristan Tate. No, he's not. He's something else. We got a lot of demons around us, and y'all think that because the demon isn't attacking you in your face, that it's not something that you need to pay attention to. But just like we started the show there are many different ways for the shit to sneak in and you be completely unawares. So we're going to get to that. But first, this girl was 17, so maybe it makes a little bit more of a difference. Let's see.
And the true abundance mindset of you can have the pick of the crop. You can have the world's most attractive women. I mean, one of my main chicks has 200,000 Instagram followers, and I took her virginity when she was 17. And the true abundance mindset of you can have the pick of the crop. You can have the world's most attractive women. I mean, one of my main chicks has 200,000 Instagram followers, and I took her virginity when she was 17.
I mean, that's such a good thing to brag about, right? Like taking a girl's virginity at 17. I mean, that's cool, right? Because they're in a different place. They're not operating under United States rules. No. The age of consent is different in different countries. Taisha, does it really matter to you? I mean, to me, I wasn't even allowed to have a boyfriend until I was like 14, 15. And then it was very supervised. I'm talking, it was church dates and such. My parents were not people to fuck around with at all. But other people's parents aren't like that. You know, maybe they don't have any restrictions. You can just start talking whenever you want to talk to. You know, you got the little kindergarten boys, say they got girlfriends, and then it'd be some grown-ass woman talking about, oh, that's my little boyfriend over there. I mean, you have a son. Did you ever have any weird-ass women around him talking about that's their little boyfriend?
Oh, no, negative. That was not going to happen. We were super protective. And if I had a hunch that someone was onto that, they were out quick, fast. My mom, she was really protective over me because she had gotten pregnant at 17. But because she was so protective over me and just, I didn't understand what was going on. As soon as I left, I got married. So, you know, so I learned from that. But with I never say my children, with our children, it's more about education. We've always been open. We've always used other people as case studies. I don't sugarcoat or lie about anything. I'm like, look, you see how they acting over there? You see what happened? Well, that's why we're doing things this way. Mm-hmm. With my son and my daughter, I said it, but they have both parents. And with our son, you know, our daughter, you know, they have bonus parents, and we have a village, we have a community. And so I don't worry about them, you know, I don't accept mistakes. I don't believe in that. The standard is set real high. They're not set out into the world to go and find themselves and all this other stupid stuff. Negative. We set the bar. We say, look, our standard is here. Your job is to be better than us. We've held ourselves to a high standard. Now it's up to you to go higher. And yeah, but
what do you say to the people who say that there's fucked up people all around? Just because you came from a 2-parent household doesn't mean that you're better than me. My single mama, she did everything she could do to get me to where I'm at. And have you ever heard those arguments? Because I have. And
I've heard it, and I know of people that come from 2-parent households that's jacked up, from households that have one or the other that's jacked up, that have none, that came out of foster care. I've gone into situations, my background in the military and then in law enforcement is like, I've seen, you know, a lot of different, I call them case studies, but a lot of different situations. There is no one perfect recipe or instruction manual to being a parent. You can't say, well, I did the best I could, but sometimes the best you could wasn't good enough. So you need to give everything. I think about things right now. I can go at any minute. But I look back and say, what have I done? What have I done? What do I have in place to ensure that my children will be the best, even in my absence? You know?
Very, very good question to have.
Because we have a little cousin who her mother passed away while I was pregnant with our daughter. And so I try to do everything I can for her, but it's like, I don't want to ever leave my children, you know, at their young age right now. When they're like 40 and 60, you know, that's a good time. I'll be, you know, 80, or I'm trying to stay here until 100, you know.
As
But
long as you're supposed to be here, for sure. I find that it is the critical thinking Black people who have common sense and know that we are owed a debt that get targeted all the time. And then having just conversations like this gets very dangerous. So I
Mhm.
salute you for your braveness and your
Um,
courage and just being honest with us tonight, because we're missing that from these people online. And yeah, I'm a people online, but y'all can see my face. Not tonight because my hair's not done and I don't feel like it. But you see my Abby right there. You see her Abby. We are outside, and when you say enough is enough and other people haven't made it their duty to also speak up, it gets very scary because you're kind of out there by yourself, and then everybody's saying, no, it's not that serious, it's just Blippy. But if Blippy
that
with
mother
his
joker.
child shows on YouTube with his millions of followers, if he can have a background of defecating on people, that is shitting on people, and then it being this joke, and then he's got a kids show on children YouTube Kids, that also kind of plays with this taboo. I don't even want to call it taboo. It's just not, it's unproductive. It seems like a gateway of sorts to start having discussions about bathroom talk outside of the bathroom, right? I tell my children, don't joke. We don't joke about body parts and pooping and peeing. That's not funny to me. And I know boys can be boys, and boys start getting real gross and weird, and bug, slime, dirt, whatever, poop. Ooh, it's poop. No, it's bathroom talk. And once you take it out of your body and it is in the toilet and you flush it, that's it. We don't talk about it no more unless it's got blood in it or something's wrong with it. Then you can talk to me about it. But no, we're not joking about poop or butts or anything, because I just feel like that's too much of a slippery slope. Then another adult can come talk to my child, our minis, about their butts. No. Unless my damn child has some toilet paper sticking out of their pants and you want to let them know, hey, you need to go back to the bathroom and handle that, I don't think you should be talking about children's body parts at all, especially at some of these ages. But for all intents and purposes, I think the youngest child tonight that we're talking about, outside of the incident that you brought up, I think the youngest person is 13. And some people say, well, she was fast in the ass. She wanted it.
Oh, Olivia, Jesus Christ. I was the second man she ever in her whole life. Beautiful, big, natural tits. So cute. Man, it hurt her at every moment that I was doing it, but it felt good for me. So who gives a shit?
Absolutely disgusting.
It is. And it's like, he doesn't say how old she was. So let's just say she was a consenting adult. Just the fact that he's got his cigar, his whiskey, or whatever he's drinking, and he's like talking to this other guy about life. They're just shooting the shit, right? Yeah, I fucked her, and it wasn't pleasurable for her, but fuck her. This is kind of how you have to do it. And the Tate brothers have this thing. It's called Hustlers University. And then Hustler University 2.0, 3.0, 4.0. And I think right now they're at what they would call the real world. And at these universities, they're teaching men, boys, or whoever is going to pay how to treat women so that you can get the outcome and results that they've gotten. And I don't know about these outcomes and results as much as it just seems very cult-like. And I have a little bit of experience with cults during my tenure with the New Black Media. And from there, I find that there are so many segues between what these men are saying out their mouths and what I saw in real time with my own eyes, what I experienced with my own body. It's just very strange that people have to either go through this to see it, or the people who don't go through it but see it aren't doing more to let the people know, like, hey, none of this is benign. All of this is very dangerous. And what the fuck is going on? Again, I'm gonna have to salute you again because you don't do the bystander thing. So maybe it's your Essex blood. Shout out to ancestor Mark Essex or something else. But for whatever reason, I met you at a time where you didn't just stand on the sidelines when fuckery was happening around you. So I think that's pretty cool. How do you feel about what he just said?
This is the time where I wish I was still in a position to testify against individuals like this, because I remember an incident where I had to arrest a male for indecent liberties with a minor, and that was probably the best use of the handcuffs and transporting someone to jail, because I had no regrets after it.
Right, you're saying like you felt good about that one.
That if that could be the highlight of my career, that was it. Because this child, oh my gosh, she was groomed, and he particularly looked for her and did these things to her. And the aftermath, yes, and we arrested him, charged him, went to court, all that stuff. But I still saw this young lady growing up in the community and the things that she was engaging in. And I knew it was because he stole her childhood. And so I reflect on that and think about it at times, especially now that I have a daughter. When this all happened, my son was really little. He was I think 3 when this happened. And it's that's when I took that posture that I will protect them by any means necessary. I never want to wear a pair of handcuffs outside of training, but for my children and those who are close to me, I will, because that will serve as my purpose in life, is to protect children.
I think that is, I think that's so important, because people will say, well, you're in law enforcement, so you can do something. You can actually arrest people if something bad happens. And I don't think you have to be in law enforcement to do the right thing.
Not at all, because I did not just drive up on this or find this out myself. How this was brought to the attention of law enforcement. The man's son reported it to his mother. This happened at a time where they were he was on a visitation weekend with his father, and he observed some things happen. He immediately knew that it was wrong, called his mother. His mother came to pick him up. He told his mother what happened. She took him directly to us. So it's important to know that everyone has a role in keeping children safe. So not only did we have the victim, that we had, this young boy see his father do this stuff. So he's a victim as well. He lost his father because of the actions of his father,
Absolutely. It's so many people are affected by selfish abusers. And then we're actually, here's my problem. And this is why I had to tag the business broadcast tonight, because I know I haven't talked about it quite yet, but I'm going to get to it, especially after this little snippet that I'm about to share with you. But so many people want to poison the well, and then they want to talk about the problems. And I find that that's very similar to the healthcare industry, the schooling industry, the Department of Education, any of the 9 areas of people activity. There are entities, people, and energy that is trying to poison the up and coming crop of us, specifically Black America. And the Tate brothers, I don't know where their Blackness is, or who. I think it's their dad. I don't know if he's American Black, African Black. I have no clue. I do know that they are not white. And it's so very interesting to have passing people in 2024 with such views, because if everybody knows you're passing, eventually you're gonna get the nigga treatment. I mean, if I give Professor Black Truth a shout out tonight, it'll be because he's always told everybody when they're finished with you, they will break you. And some of these things I should have paid attention to, because as a tool of the new black media, when my job is done, I should have just known that there was going to be some sort of breaking involved. Well, fuck you very much, Jeremy. You can't really break something that wasn't yours, buddy. I was on lend. I was on loan. I guess I was being leased out, but I don't know. I feel like 200 years past the ending of us working for free, you probably, as the black authority, should have known that niggas don't work for free, especially if it's something that you're benefiting off of. And no, I'm not talking about moderating his fucking chat. No, all of y'all who sent that man all of that money for this documentary that he had already basically finished, and without my help, he wouldn't have the finished product. Y'all sent that man so much money. But then he's supposed to be the authority on things. You go and sign up for the business Patreon at different tier levels, and for $100 or more a month, you can get one-on-one at his discretion, because he's going to have to be able to Google it to make sure that you don't know that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. But let's just listen to Mr. Tate talk about how he gets his money, because he is a lot more open with the people. Because I guess that's kind of, if you're going to be a pimp, you have to be honest. And I don't think he was honest with his victims as much as he's been honest with the internet. And, when that happens, it's because people feel like they don't have any consequences. I'm bigger than that. I can avoid certain things. It doesn't matter if it was illegal. Fuck the law. I'm above the law. I'm Superman. But, okay, he doesn't say he's Superman. Here he goes.
But the majority of my money wasn't made in fighting. My money was actually made in the pimp game.
A pimp is a human trafficker.
Okay, you look at it from my position. Pimp game. Having sex with girls is all good, but how do you get them to do as you say, make you money, obey you, allow you to cheat on them in front of their face, and still love you? That's the game.
Pimps for themselves believe that they are managers of prostitutes.
The skill I'm going to teach you is exactly the same. I could easily translate mine to a street business, and you could easily street pimp with the things I'm going to teach you. The PhD course is my recruitment system.
PhD is a pimp and hose degree that I'm.
There are multiple types of pimps out there, and those would be a Romeo pimp, also known as a finesse pimp or a lover boy.
I'm accused of using a method of human trafficking called the lover boy method.
Romeo pimps are pimps that use manipulation through flattery, through finesse.
Because that's what I did. That was my MO, was find girls, make them love me, and make them work for me. And that's how I got rich.
Through a lover boy method to exploit and manipulate their victims.
I had women who would work for me and make $100,000 a year and give it all to me.
They want to gain the trust and the love of their victim.
There's no such thing as having girls who work for you who you've not fucked. It's impossible. You have to fuck them and they have to love you. It's essential to the business.
And then when they are starting to groom and manipulate their victims,
you continue as normal, no mention of webcam.
The victims themselves feel so deeply connected to their Romeo pimp that they're willing to do these things without question.
Să mă treci pe mine ca și victimă, dacă eu n-am spus că sunt o victimă. Pe mâna stângă tatuajul ăsta care scrie Tate Girl.
Take over everything. No one's driving my cars but me. It's like my women. Put my name on them. Life. Boom. Done.
There is also guerrilla pimps. Guerrilla pimps are definitely pimping through heavy hands.
Being with what? With what?
You have
a belt because you're a jerk. Show me the bruises.
Your victims, when it comes to guerrilla pimps, will have visible bruising. They will have scars. They will definitely exhibit outer traumas and fear of men in general.
That's right. Lock the door, you. You knew I was going to beat the out of you. If you behaved, I wouldn't have to hit you, would I?
And then you come across the CEO pimps. CEO pimps believe in themselves as entrepreneurs.
With me, with webcam, I saw dudes giving their money to girls. I can't compete with the girls. I ain't got titties. Okay, so how can I get in between?
They look at the pimping and hoe model as a business model to make money.
Yeah, my approach to women has always been how to get money from them. I was all about trying to get paid. Like I used sex as a tool to make women love me so they'd obey me and live in my house to make me money. That's what I wanted.
CEO pimps love to scale their business. And to scale their business, they're extremely business savvy within themselves.
Where's the money in? Legal shit is a cost. We're not interested in costs until we've seen the money in. Do not get legal before you get rich.
Pimps that use the CEO pimping type of model, who think of themselves as businessmen, will teach their victims to market themselves across all social media platforms, to include marketing themselves on campsites.
So social media is the easiest way to get people to sign up for your OnlyFans. Put your OnlyFans link in the bio. So it's either Instagram, Twitter, it doesn't matter. There are other places you can get subscribers, but this is the easiest way to get global subscribers.
Specifically within this time where we have been facing COVID across the country, we saw a dramatic shift of where traffickers would continue to push their victims through the cam video sites, making as much money as possible.
Because Corona came, it was locked down. I got 20 more girls online. We scaled that back up to $300,000 or $400,000 a month.
It's probably through the roof right now, right? I mean,
Well,
it's got to be way up. Yeah.
A pimp might initially start out as a lover boy, but then emphasize that he is more of a CEO and an entrepreneur once he has his victims in hand. If the victims end up retaliating or trying to leave or gain their independence from that specific pimp.
If you're not fucking the girl, she is fucking someone else. And that other person she's fucking is going to have the control over her mind as opposed to you. How can she leave you? If you start making loads of money and the girl thinks, well, I want to leave and do this by myself, but you have the Twitter, you have the Instagram, you have the account on your phone, she can't do nothing. All she can do as you say.
They might have to turn and become guerrilla pimps and move on into those tactics.
You can't stay in there forever.
Be in charge of her own phone contact with members who like her. You are setting yourself up to get scammed. And that has happened to me before. I went to the room, smashed the room up, told her I knew what she did. She sent me all the money, but that has happened to me before.
The common characteristic between all pimps is that they're exploiting other human beings for money.
I'd have sex with women to get their money. I didn't want to have sex with them. I was trying to get the money. I don't even really want to fuck the girl. I want to know, like, she better love me afterwards. I need to get paid. I got rent. Like,
yeah. How do I use these women to make money? Jesus.
All pimps have something in common, and that is the fact that their one main motivator is financial gain.
I have to fuck her so she obeys me. I don't give a shit about having sex with beautiful women. I fuck them so they listen to me, so I can get what I actually want, which is not them. It's a means to an end.
They're all using force, fraud, or coercion to manipulate human trafficking victims into selling themselves and taking those profits directly from them.
I have met beautiful women with a good personality and thought, she will make me money. I have to fuck this bitch. I don't want to have sex with her. I just need the money.
Prosecutors in Romania have filed formal charges against Andrew Tate, include rape, human trafficking, and forming an organised crime group.
All right, so I know it was a little long, but I hope you were able to get that reason. The reason that I even played that is because when I heard it the first time, I said, oh my God, that sounds like Jeremy. I mean, all of it. I typed it in the chat so I didn't lose my thought, but from the Romeo pimp to the gorilla pimp to the CEO pimp, this nigga is not a pimp as much as he thinks he is. And then he's using these little playbooks that I guess thorough niggas know about, people who, I'm not going to call them unthorough, but women. I don't think women look at men the same way that men look at men. So when you look at the audience of the business broadcast, it's a few incels, and it's littered with single moms and women who have self-esteem issues and people who have accepted that they are throwaways. And it's like, yeah, you can definitely make some money off of that type of audience. So Taisha, in the cult research that you've been doing from Jonestown to, what was the other one that you were looking up?
Oh, it's been quite a few. It's been quite a few. Most recently, I forgot her name. Her name was like Cat something, but she was doing the same thing, running a brothel, having a whorehouse, and she was from like Brazil or something like that. But she's in prison, so that's the latest one I've been watching. I think her Netflix special is on right now. I forget what it's called, but yeah.
But what he was saying, I mean, do you see like a connection in the business models of these people who are in charge of these cults? Because the force, fraud, or coercion aspect, I mean, just using myself as an example, you know, to be forced to do something. I don't know that I've ever been forced to do something. Maybe if I knew that I was extortionable, could somebody have used the things that I've done to try to force me to do something? But making me like you and then doing something for you, that's a lot different. And then fraud, you know, a lot of people bought into the fact that the Black Authority is a high value Negro. But if high value means that you can do a little documentary and then take the funds from that and then live off of them for 5-6 years and then drop another documentary, get the donations and live off of it for another 5-6 years, I don't know that that's high value. I know that there's been a lot of people that I have banned from his chat for asking questions about what he does. So if you're in my audience tonight, I'm sorry. I was just doing my job. And really, no, I wasn't forced, but I was coerced. And I guess with fraud, you know, like if there's supposed to be a payout for doing the work that I'm doing, then, you know, I feel like I need to do a good job. And if you have rules for your chat and people aren't following the rules, then I'm not really paying attention to what's being said as much as they're not following the rules. You gotta go. So, you know, if I could just have an accountability moment tonight, if you've ever asked questions about what he does, I think he's just a YouTuber, if I'm being honest. I mean, he asked me way too many questions about money for him to be a person with money, because I don't got money. I mean, I'm not broke, but I mean, I am broke. I think I'm in poverty, honestly, and I really wish the government would give me some help, because I'm supposed to be here versus these other people who are not supposed to be here who are getting help. But let me not sidetrack myself. Business models, Taisha, when you're seeing these people who are in charge of these cults, do you find that they're kind of following the same steps, or is it different if it's a female, or how have you seen it?
First off, don't beat yourself up any more than you already have, because I think all of us at one point of time would have left our families, gave away all of our belongings to the People's Church had we had been around in the 70s, and went to Guyana. So don't beat yourself up about that. I think that, yes, they do follow the same playbook. Check out a documentary. I think it's on Netflix. It's called How to Start a Cult, or How to Be a Cult Leader. And it's like a 4-part series. And if you look at it, it's the same blueprint. There is a charismatic speaker or a charismatic talker who is completely different from the humble upbringing they had, where it was rags to, you know, riches, I for lack of a better word. But they found a way to sell themselves to people who were searching. And that's why it's so important to not search for something outside of yourself. You're a complete person. When you were born, you had all the teeth that you would need in your entire life. Everything was within you to be a complete, functioning adult human being. Okay, you don't need anything outside of yourself. Stop searching, because that's when you open yourself up to the manipulators. Another one is just accountability. This Tate dude, and I'm going to admit I was not too familiar with this until you had brought it to me, but the more I listen and find out, he should not have been that bold to say what he's doing to other people's daughters on the internet like that, and just be so flashy with it. This, I'm sorry, but the ultimate prescription for that would be some kind of caliber, and he would have been on the receiving end of it.
Amen to that. I mean, I hate when people do it politically.
There's no training out of that. There's no nothing. That's the ultimate prescription when you violate children. Absolutely. No matter where you are on this planet. A 5-year-old is a 5-year-old here in the U.S. A 5-year-old is a 5-year-old on the continent, wherever you are.
Absolutely. And that's kind of what I'm saying, from 16, 14, teen. And I know 18 has teen in it, right? But even the doctors say that we're not fully developed in our mental until 25 across the board. So whether you believe that girls work faster,
I'm sorry, the bones in the skull, how, investigators and forensic scientists age a decayed body, they can tell by the fusion of the skull bones. And even at 19, there are certain bones in the skull that have not even fused together.
See, and that's crazy, because at 19, that's when you can get drafted, right?
So I joined the military when I was 17.
What?
I joined, but yeah, get my parents' permission, and yeah.
Right. Current law is 18 to 26. You can get drafted, but I'm just saying, if your damn brain skull isn't if the skull that is keeping your little brain safe isn't even all fully matured, we are giving way too much responsibility to people who aren't there yet. And that's why, there's gonna be a front line. Y'all can't act like you watch these war movies and shows and Sparta and King whatever the fuck and don't understand some of these war tactics. There are going to be casualties. There's gonna be a front line, and people who are more expendable are going to be the cost. I hate that. I hate that our children have to make such decisions, but then they can't drink yet. If a damn child is going to go fight a war that your fat ass, not you, but like Jeremy's fat ass isn't going to go join, and they want to take a drink, they want to drink a beer. Why can't they? What?
See, there's understand. That's the thing, because we're talking about protecting our minis. And like I said, I joined when I was 17. I was still a mini. But one thing that is coming out is, there's a lot of rape in the military, men and women. When I lived up in Washington, there's a submarine base in Silverdale, Washington, where some submariners were found with underage, girls in their dorm rooms and stuff. So yeah, there's a term now where it's actually a disability. It's called military sexual trauma. Yeah, this stuff is all over. So you really have to protect not only the mini minis, but the young minis, and just everyone. You have to protect them, because there's no safe place besides your vicinity.
You made me think about, didn't we talk during the we talked about the woman solar eclipse lady who went crazy and killed herself and her children, right?
Out in, I think that was like what, Texas or California, one of the two,
when we had the eclipse. Yeah. And her mom, remember I told you, or I think I even invited you to the space. Her mom was saying, go ahead.
Yeah, her mom was on Twitter trying to get into different spaces. I remember that. But
when she finally was able to talk, she was saying, well, I can't do nothing about an adult. You know, she's an adult now. What am I going to do? And I find that some of these behaviors that people are doing as their big old adult self is shit that you would have picked up on if you were a present parent. So I'm not here to shit on anybody's parenting as much as if that's you, then do something different, get better, do better. Or maybe that's why you're not allowed to have children right now to tell me to go fuck off or put hands on me. I don't know. But between her and then Fulio's fucking fool mom, I shouldn't have said it like that. Fulio's mom, these women, they say that it's not their responsibility because they're adults now. And I'm like, damn it, when was it your responsibility? And why didn't you do something to prevent these things? Because I think I did talk to you about Fulio too, right? That
sure did. Yep.
My parents wouldn't have, the way that I was not allowed to have sleepovers or be over nobody's house that they didn't know specifically, you know, they couldn't call them people's parents up or whatever. If I didn't want to tell them I wasn't allowed to go. And y'all new parents. And I mean, I'm a new parent, but I guess I got old school ways. There are some monoliths that niggas need to keep, you know, heteronormative things, family related things, not seeking outside yourself for help, things like what Taisha was talking about. If as soon as you start looking outward, that's when the manipulation can breed and feed. And then now you've got these girls. The reason I even brought this up to Taisha is because the parents in the comment section, I don't know if I have it available right now as much as I've been searching, but the parents in some of these comment sections, they said that they didn't know about the Tates, and they didn't know about the Tates until their daughters started doing dumb shit around the house. And I'm talking about 14, 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds, 12-year-olds. And when I say dumb shit, you know, y'all, the new age minis, they different. They wear hoodies outside 1 billion degrees. You know, they wake up like vampires. It's very strange, but some of it is strange for a different reason. And it'll be that your daughter has a boyfriend and he's gone through Hustlers University and he's learned these things because it's only like $11 a month or some stupid shit. But, you know, for whatever the cost is, these little boys are trying this shit out on the girls. And then the girls are getting all depressed because they don't want to do OnlyFans. They don't want to take naked pictures. They don't want to be on camera doing things to these boys that they like. And they're pressuring them. And then the dads go on the phone, they find. They're like, oh shit, Andrew Tate, why are you even on my daughter's phone? And not that he's talking to her per se, but just the boys are using his playbook. And I'm like, that's a whole line of people. I don't want to say the whole generation because it's not everybody, but it's a lot of people affected by these fake hustlers. I want to call them forever incels. You know, they're not hustlers. Again, when I think of a hustler, I think of like Bumpy Johnson. You know, someone who was able to do the things, but not shit on everybody. I mean, people are going to use drugs for sure. But do you want the drug dealer who's going to cut it with some shit that's going to kill people? Or do you want the drug dealer who's not going to cut it with some people don't give a damn. And fuck it, it's a junkie anyway. You know, and let me not act like I know Bumpy Johnson because I don't. It was dead way before I was born. But I'm just saying, if we're talking about hustler, I would think someone like that, not these beta boys who discovered the internet, found out that there is a huge population of vulnerable people who are looking for themselves. So many people left the church looking for themselves in the church. Man, y'all need work. You need Dr. Short probably. You know, if you have church, you need to have it like how Dr. Short has church. And then you probably would have a more thorough crop of people doing the Lord's work. But no, y'all got the TD Jakeses and well, a bunch of pulpit pimps not doing anything, not busting a grape, but they buying themselves planes and trains and Bugattis and they got the special parking spot at the front. And all right, let me just play this real quick. Andrew Tate dated Vivian since she was 15.
I've had it where I've had girls who say, oh, I know you're with Vivian. I know you've been with her a long time. I don't mind. I'll stay out tonight. You two stay alone. All that shit. But it never lasts long. Because the ones who are really in love with you won't do that. You actually have to downplay your relationship with the girl of 6 years, which is difficult. And I only get away with that because the girl of 6 years plays along. So Vivian's been with me 6 years. She's completely head over heels in love with me. She wants kids with me, everything. And we met and we felt whatever. We're in love. But when a new girl comes, she'll go, oh, yeah, I started off working for him. And, it's just how it worked out. She'll super downplay us. When I bring on new girls, I usually pair them with Vivian. Because Vivian's younger. Melissa's like 28. Vivian's like 21. Vivian's younger. She's more fun, more outgoing. Melissa's really quite, not in a bad way. She's more homey, boring, sits at home. So if you're going to pair a girl with a girl, it's much easier if the girl's fun. So a description of your relationship process with Vivian. So yeah, that's how it started. I met Vivian in Slovakia. We had a long-term relationship thing. I was living in England. It's a really long story. I don't want to tell you the whole story. I moved her to England to be with me to start doing my webcam company, which I started. If you don't have a webcam company, you need to look into it because as soon as you have a couple girls in love with you, it's the fucking easiest money in the world. No, I take that back. It's not easy money. You got to build it up. But once you get girls built up, then it's free money. Like every other business, you got to build it up. But I decided I want to start a webcam business. Vivian's beautiful. I said, look, stop being a waitress. Come here, live with me. She came. Everything was fine for a couple of weeks. Melissa obviously lived in England. They didn't know about each other. They found out. They tried to have a big argument with me. I did exactly as I said, downplayed it, didn't give a shit. Everyone moved in together. Everyone started doing webcam. I was making loads of money. Then we agreed to the split, like we said. And that's basically been it. Since then, new girls have come along. Vivian understands that I'm fucking these hoes, but I don't care about these hoes.
So he's banging them, right? And Vivian, that's his bottom. That was, I think, the first girl I played. I know it was one that I wanted to play, but at this point, I don't know what all the different videos that I've played tonight. But at 15 in Slovakia, I don't think it's legal just yet. I think 16 is the age of consent. But me, I feel like there are people who mature in their mental a little bit faster than others. And I still feel like it's the adult's responsibility to not take advantage of that. Because as a child, they don't actually have any rights. Not really. Children can't advocate for themselves. I mean, I know that Walls and Kamala are trying to usher in this new era of fuckery, but it's not quite here yet. It's only in a few states, and I think if more states got their panties out of a bunch, they could do something about what's being done. But for all intents and purposes, Andrew has been very honest about the things that he has done, at least again to the public, because you can't operate with fear. No, if you gorilla pimping, if you are CEO pimping, if you are lover boy pimping, you got to stay with your chest, and then your flock will give you all the excuses in the world. I saw the parents in the comment section so upset that they missed it, and I'm like, do I need to be a helicopter parent to not miss these things, or do I just need to take a pause, realize that I actually have life experience that addresses these things? So that's why I took the time tonight to break this stuff down, at least to the best of my ability, and try to give you some segues. If you were watching the video that I showed earlier, Taisha, did you see all the girls with the tattoos on them?
Yes, and that right there, that's like a big thing. That's why I'm so anti-tattoo. And I'll go ahead and admit it's like my son has tattoos. Our son has. So I'm like, oh, I do that. But we talked about some stuff. But I think talking with our children, using these things as an example, like the videos tonight, they may come into contact with a sweet talker, but letting them know, like, look, this is how these people really feel about. No, it's not love. No, they're not buying them these things because they love them or treating them this way. This is what's happening behind closed doors. These people do not care about you because, one thing with our children is these groomers, the manipulators, will turn the parents into the enemy just to take your child away. So I totally believe in scenario training. I've done that in the military, and then also in law enforcement. We go through these scenarios so that when you're presented with these events, you can think straight. You know what resources you have to get through it. And I think we should do that with our children. I recall being in the first grade, and we had a Cincinnati police officer in our class, and had all of us line up, and each one of us came up, and he offered us, a watch, some candy, just something to see if we would go with the stranger. And that was so important because I had that with forever. My son told him about stranger danger. It was funny because he used stranger danger at the wrong point. I was trying to get him in the cart at the store, and he runs away from me screaming stranger danger. Luckily, he looks just like me, so no one intervened. But we have to teach our children. Our homes, we are their instructors. Our homes is the training ground. Outside of our homes is where they put everything that we teach them into use.
Absolutely. It's so strange that we even have to have conversations like this, but I find that the internet has allowed people to just run amok, and then people with common sense or critical thinking skills, or just people who have questions, and I'm talking about the good faith questions, not the people who are asking for evidence. Like the Twitter page that I've been sharing, the comment sections are littered with people saying, I never saw him doing this with a minor. If I could just get a link, then, I could verify that everything that y'all are saying is true. Outside of that, y'all are just shooting the shit. And I'm like, did y'all really just ask for what?
This is disgusting because this is like what happened with you. You are a victim, and your first cries of help go out for help. But these goofy mugs are talking about, where's the link? Post it. Why would you want to see a crime take place? That makes you an accessory, you stupid ass.
Absolutely. And all of those people have been screenshotted and documented, because how dare you ask me? Why don't you ask your daddy? Because obviously he's the one in control, the instructor, or the leader of the things that were revolving around my privacy. But no, that he would block you and then make a mockery of the fact that you're asking him anything, because of course he's above all of this stuff. But now you come to my comment section asking for evidence of the abuse, when the abuse was exposing my privacy without my permission, which means that I would have to give you permission to see it. And I didn't give you permission to see it. So people who were telling people to join the room, naturally Tura, people who were taking my pictures and posting it on their own pages. The internet is forever, people. And I know you didn't think about it like that, but in the same form and fashion, I didn't know that the wellness checks that this man was telling us to do on these trolls, quote, quote, trolls, were including people calling the police and trying to have these people swatted. Did y'all know that that's what the wellness checks do? Because I didn't. And it wasn't until a person who had been on the receiving end of the wellness checks had a conversation with me about how the police were called and pulled up to this man's residence. And I'm like, oh my God, in fucking 2024 or 2021, 2022, any of these recent times, we all know what happens when we call the police on us, or when the police are called on us. It's a very real chance that you, being the victim, can get murdered. And then that's supposed to be funny. I mean, no, it would have been content, because y'all don't know how he operates. I mean, any of the wellness checks that turned into police brutality would have been content for him. Luckily, it hasn't escalated like that. Nobody's lost their life outside of Tina, who died tragically at a very weird freak scenario car accident. But I've already given Tina my sympathies and respect, and I've had conversations with her before she died. So I do hope she knows, wherever she is, that it's fucked up what he was doing. And if he was in her head when she was driving and she was distracted and that's how she met her end, I think that's really messed up that people would do that, you know, get so comfortable to be this invading thought in their minds. But this is Vivian. I have her on the screen. This is the one that he was talking about. I think this is, well, let's see.
And during a sex, like, you're not even allowed to like choke a girl because like she can sue you after that. I was like, how did you have sex then? He goes like, well, it has to be like soft and you have to like ask in advance. I was like, imagine how shit that is. Like, you're having sex with a guy and he's like, is it okay I choke you right now? Is it okay I slap your ass? It just ruins the whole thing, right? Right? I'm gonna put that. And during a sex, like, you're not even allowed to like choke a girl because like she can.
So I guess this is one of the grooming videos, and like it's very interesting that Andrew was very honest about using the younger girls against the older girls, because the older women, they would want more acceptance because of however he feels and has publicly stated how he feels about someone in their age bracket. And I saw that with my own eyes with the Broke Authority and his ex-mod, Miss Step. Do y'all remember Miss Step, Stephanie? She, I met her in Dallas, and he ran the same play, me being the younger one. And I know y'all think I'm an old lady. I'm older than some people and then younger than some people. I'm younger than her, and I watched myself in this in real time when I heard Andrew talking about how you do this, and then I had to recount how it was done. It's like, damn, I don't think he has an original bone in his body. It's so strange that you can just take a play out of somebody else's book, or maybe all the slime balls of the world were born with the same playbook. I don't know, but Vivian has his tat on her. This other girl probably is on her way to get a tat. And do you know what the business does? He let me tell you what Jeremy does, Taisha. He'll buy trinkets, right? Purses, name brand bags and shit like that. But you can't have it because it hasn't been monogrammed. It doesn't have his name on it. And he's talked about this. I couldn't figure out which broadcast or program it was, but all of you fans out there, y'all know what I'm talking about. He says that you have to label the things, because when she's done with you, or if she decides to skip out on you before you're done with her, then when you go and check up on her to see if she's doing better than you'll see that she still has the same things. It's going to be very hard to hide Jason Black monogrammed on what's the name brand purse? I don't even know that shit. A YSL bag.
Walmart purse.
Who knows? That's not my cup of tea. So I think it was a Gucci bag that he gave me in Dallas. He gave both of us a Gucci bag, and then he took it back because it didn't have his initials on it just yet. So it was more of a show and tell. Like, Eve, if you do what you're supposed to do, then you can get your bag with Jason's name on it. And it's like, okay, okay. I don't actually like purses, and I'm a pocket girl, but all right, I guess if this is the look, right? But then the look for what? The look was to ensure that all of the little girls that come up under me don't have any issues, because I've already accepted all of these things. Kind of like how Dee Tubman was telling me to just, girl, just go live your best life. Your hubby will be there when you finish. It's a lot of training involved. And the training doesn't necessarily come from him as much as it comes from the other women who've already accepted the deal. So you remember what happened with Cassie and Diddy, right, Taisha?
I didn't really pay that too much attention. I just know that a lot of people just started saying no Diddy afterwards. So I really don't.
I think that was more related to, well, I guess it is all of the abuse and such, but I say no Diddy when it's something kind of rainbow-esque, because he's been, well, people have said some things about the things that he does with other things, and I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a little much, but
I thought I knew something was wrong with him. I remember right before COVID, I think her name was Kim Porter. She just all of a sudden died, and I knew something wasn't right with him. So yeah, and then I left Sean Combs alone when he was doing that whole vote or die thing. So I knew that he was, and this is the thing, the hip hop culture, and I'm not going to just generalize the hip hop culture. I'll call out certain individuals. Now, when what was it? Sean Combs, when he had the show Making the Band, and he made the contestants walk to get him a cheesecake, that was some manipulation type stuff. That was like the start of it. Then I remember it was 50 Cent and Snoop. They came out with the song PIMP. And I ain't gonna lie, at that time I was like 18 and it was catchy and whatever. But I'm like, that lifestyle is not what's up. That is just it was just nothing to glamorize. I think I was too young to understand Players Club when I did watch. I'm like, this is some shit. This is stupid. And it's ironic that, and me, I am a nerd. When it comes to psychology, I am a nerd. So like I said, 50 Cent came out with the song PIMP. Snoop was on the remix, and they kind of like had these personas and these characters as being pimps, whatever. So think about it. Snoop walking around talking about he's a PIMP and all this other stuff. He got a whole wife at the house. He has a whole daughter. So now that he's old Snoop, he's like the dog that's about to get put down at the pound because he's old and nobody want it. Okay, now it's time to clean it up and be Martha Stewart's lapdog. So I don't give him a pass. I don't approve of that. But when you look at 50 Cent, once he kind of stopped being 50 Cent, and I noticed that when I saw him live in Vegas a few years ago, me and my best friend, we were the only Black people at that whole concert. So just look to see who he's catering to. But he came out with the show. He was on the show Power, and then, different seasons of that. And I was paying attention. One season of Power, they were pushing the 48 Laws of Power. And so, someone likes to talk about the dark side of things, the dark psychology and stuff. So I study these books. Study books by Robert Greene, The 48 Laws of Power, The Laws of Human Nature. There's a bunch more. I can't think of them right now, but these are psychological games. This is mental manipulation. So try to stay on top of that and just observe how individuals try to get into your mind and try to manipulate you. Because when they get into your mind, you're behind to follow. I don't and now my goal, like with our daughter, is 1, to keep her out of the beauty supply stores, 2, to keep her from being, low-hanging fruit, savage or whatever. And I made a video about Greg the Stallion. I can't stand Greg the Stallion, but also I remember when they were like pushing Nicki Minaj and Rihanna. I really don't like either of them. With Nicki Minaj, just look at her and all that stuff. But then also too with Rihanna, I remember it was a song she came out with, and I absolutely stopped listening to her. Whenever she came on the radio, I'll cut it off. It's a song called S&M. And I'm like, that is a terrible song. Why is this having, on the airwaves? Why is this out to, make it acceptable to have this violent intimacy? That's not what it's about. So you have to be on guard like all the time. And yeah, I did my hair today, and I had to put some color into it, because I'm like, well, damn, by the time I get done with all this, my hair gonna be completely white.
It takes a toll. I think about the fact that I could be living my best life and ignoring all of this and just fighting my case quietly, like you guys keep telling me to do. Not you, but other people keep saying, Eve, you're too loud about this. Why you need to fight your case and then you can be loud about it. No, I understand that the system of racism, white supremacy doesn't give a fuck about me either. So just because I filed charges doesn't mean that he's going to get justice. It has nothing to do with me and everything to do with the court system at this part. And I hate that we don't have elders that we could call and talk to about these things and how to handle these things without using them people. But I brought up Diddy because last year, the Broke Authority was kind of prepping the landscape for what he's going through right now. And I shared it on the screen. And I know you got to go pretty soon. So, whenever you got to bounce out is all good, because I'm going to finish this up. But prepping the landscape, it's about manipulation. So if people don't know that you are out here doing these fraudulent activities, then they won't make a connection, or at least they won't be on the side of the person saying that you're participating in these fraudulent activities. But last year, this is what he posted. So every groupie who failed to get their career to pop off is filing a revenge lawsuit as a pension plan. So when I see people in my comments talking about it is all about the money, it's not about the money as much as I was to get paid for the work that I did, for the people that I contacted, and for helping make the documentary come to fruition. Without me, there'd be no documentary. And I don't mean that I'm the only person. No, he was using a whole bunch of bitches. But for what it's worth, they're not ready to speak their truth right now. So just for all intents and purposes, I have to kind of give y'all a timeline, because November is pretty much when we were finished. I mean, I was still going through a lot with him and my man and trying to figure out why, what is going on? I thought you were this person. I thought you gave a damn about Black people. You don't? What's going on? But no, he's kind of just letting everybody know who he is in real time and then daring people to question him. Because if somebody were to go write anything on this post right here that I have on the screen, it would be blocked. They would be ridiculed. A lot of people talk too much. That law number 4 gets everybody, Taisha. So he'll go and snoop their Facebook and see that it's a woman who's 252 pounds and she has a child, but she's not with a man. So, okay, well, I don't have to respond to her because look at her. Or it's a dude and he doesn't speak as well as other people, but you can understand what he wrote. And no, you go take a gander at that Facebook profile, find out that you just a post office worker, and I don't mean a lifetime worker about to retire or with any 10-year benefits, retirement, anything. Nope, just a humble public servant making your money, doing your thing. But you have some questions. No, y'all just get blocked for asking questions. So allow me to give you an environment to ask questions that make sense, and then try to give you some answers, because the way that this man is trying to impact our babies, and I know that because I'm a woman with babies, right? And then, damn, the audience is women with babies. What the fuck is going on? Is he trying to be everybody's daddy? Nah, he's not trying to be everybody's daddy, but he is trying to cultivate a group of people to do things without asking questions. No questions, because you're not coachable if you ask questions. Your life being the mess that it is means that you even being over here on my side of the internet, I trump you. So when Diddy was going through his thing, or at least about to go through his thing, Jeremy said, oh shit, I'm about to go through some shit too. Let me just lay the foundation of Eve being a groupie. So when I expose her privacy and tell you that she's a B1 bust down and I never met her before, and then on the next program, well, yeah, I did meet her, but she thought I was going to save her from, nigga. Okay. Taisha, before you jet, did you have any final thoughts for the audience about what we've talked about tonight?
This was a very necessary video, and I'm so proud of you, and I'm thankful that you're using your internet that you and the Mr. pay for, your devices to produce something constructive. And this has definitely put something on my mind. I'm definitely leaving better than how I came on to this live stream. The other book I was thinking of before I forget, I mentioned the 48 Laws of Power and Curtis Jackson. He also did a book with Robert Greene, The 50th Law, and the other book I was thinking of was Mastery. So it's a lot of this stuff is mind games, is mental. Protect your mental. I'm serious about just watching the movie They Live. Another one is Idiocracy. Another one is what is it? Falling Down. You know, with as much as we're on guard and we're on the job to protect, to survive, to provide, to thrive, you know, take that moment out and just enjoy with your family, you know, but don't fall victim to the stuff that YouTube continues to promote on your feed to your children, even though you put on there, do not recommend this, such as Blippi and JoJo and stupid stuff like that. And be wise. Even, you know, free TV, public access, you know, we had to limit that because I saw a commercial with a bearded dude in a dress, and I'm like, this ain't for my 1-year-old. It's not even for me because I don't want to see it. But unfortunately, you know, people like us, we're not popular, but our message will stick with those who need it, and it will be repeated to, you know, listening ears who need to hear it. So I appreciate you, I value you, and I stand strong with you to protect our families and thrive. So thank you so much.
For sure. Thank you for joining us. As always, you are welcome on my show platform anytime. And you know, support is nice because, you know, doing the hard thing is normally something you have to do by yourself. So, you know, I am appreciative of the people who've been brave enough to say it with their chest, because it doesn't mean that you think that anybody's perfect as much as you do think that the message and the messenger should match, right? Or I don't know.
Absolutely. What your girl said. Quavo, and walk it like you talk it.
Walk it like you talk it. You know, you gotta put on a black scent for some of these niggas. No, thank you, Taisha. You go enjoy the family, and I'm gonna chop it up with my homies on the channel for a little bit longer. You guys, Friday is kind of rough because so much is going on, but I think it's pretty cool that you've been here for as long as you've been here, and I have so much more to share with you. So without further ado, let's see if I can get this clip up and running for you. Oh, and shout out to Murdered by Crayons on X. This is the main account that I've been getting most of my clips from. The Tate brothers say that they're die-caught agents. Who the fuck knows? I know that they've been pretty serious about making sure that the Tate brothers get some consequences. And as a person who's been called an agent for letting y'all know that Jason Black is in fact Jeremy Smith, you call me an agent too. But don't you want to know about the people who are around you harming us? Or do you just only want to know about things when it's positive? Because I can't with that type of message. If you only want to know about shit that's positive, then you better shut the fuck up about everything negative that you've ever seen. Because if you can't speak about people harming us, people that are giving their money that they don't have to support a message that isn't being lived, if you say you eat this, drink this, breathe this, live this, then you gotta fucking do that shit. Because that's why people are sending you their money. But if you don't do that shit and they're sending you their money, well, it sounds like fraud. But Maybe I don't know the definition of fraud. While y'all check this clip out, I'm going to check out my dictionary and see if I'm wrong.
Show everyone how pretty you are. Get on your knees and show everyone how pretty you are. Look at the camera. Show everyone how pretty you are. Show the camera your tattoo. What does it say?
Tate.
Why does it say Tate?
Because I'm his whore.
You are my whore.
Yes.
Get my pimp stick. That you're gonna kiss. My whore. Why's your ass got a bruise on it?
Because my daddy hits me.
He hits you?
Yes.
Why would he hit you?
Because I'm his whore and he does as he wants.
Listen, go tell the camera that I beat you and you don't do as I say. Don't say it in English, proper English, no Slovak bull. Say it to the camera.
He beats me when I don't listen.
That's not what I said say, is it? I said I said tell the camera I beat you when you don't do as I say. I didn't say the word listen. Did I say the word listen? Did I say the word listen? Stupid bitch. I didn't say the word listen. Did I say listen? Did I say listen?
No.
Look at the camera. Did I say listen?
No.
Did I say listen to you? Did I say it?
No.
Did I say it? Look at the camera. This is what happens. You don't listen. Look at the camera. Why are you getting hit? Why are you getting beaten? You don't listen. You do as I say.
Tell me you love me. Say it like you mean it. Say it like you mean it. You message one other guy ever again, whether we're together or not. Again, you understand me? Do you understand me? Say it then. Say I understand. Say it like you. Say it again. Say I understand.
What are you moaning about, woman? Bruises, why? Why? Beaten with what? With what?
You have.
A belt because you're a jerk. Show me the bruises. 1, 2, 3. Oh, baby. Oh, poor thing. I have an idea. You know what my idea is? Do you know what my idea is? That's right, lock the door, you knew I was going to beat the out of you. If you behaved, I wouldn't have to hit you, would I? You don't. Get out. You can't stay in there forever.
Can't stay in there forever. Nope, you sure can't. Look, I didn't have that type of experience like that. I have been told some stories, and because of hearsay, slander, libel, defamation, all these big words that mean that you can't talk shit about someone without evidence, I'm going to say that my own experience wasn't like that. But I saw the mugshot photo just like y'all did, and heard Judge Joe Brown say that is indeed the man that he met with, and for all intents and purposes, it is the same nigga that showed up in Dallas. So unless he's got like a fucking identical twin out here, then I don't know what the defense is going to be. I sat right next to him for 4 days and watched how he does his show. I watched him broadcast. So unless there's an identical twin out there doing the same thing, and I've had this thought so many times, because how can you talk to me on the phone for hours, and I'm talking hours, thousands of hours of talking to me on the phone, but then other females in the same timeline have also talked to you for hours? That shit, I can't figure it out. It's the Matrix on acid, right? Because, well, you only got 24 hours in a day. And if you're broadcasting for 7 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, and you talk to me for 6, 8, 9 hours, well, I know you don't sleep. You told the whole internet that you don't sleep, so I get that, right? Then, damn, some of these bitches is talking to you at 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning. Because remember, if you start your show at 7 o'clock your time and you don't finish your show till midnight your time, and then you're on the phone with Eve till 2 o'clock in the morning because Eve's got kids and can fall asleep on the phone type shit, then the person who picks up the shift of being your companion while you can't sleep, that's like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Because at 7 o'clock, you're texting and talking to Eve again. So the shit is fucking strange. It's so strange. In real time, you stop asking questions because it's so much of a mind fuck that you will be easily disillusioned. You'll kind of snap out of it. But if you're supposed to be the Black authority, then it's almost like, Jesus, give up your shit and follow me. And Jim Jones was doing sleep. Look, there are so many people who study people. It is sickening because they're not doing anything to further advance us as a people. They're using it for their own nefarious things. And Jeremy's using it to fuck bitches who don't have any self-esteem. They'll give him all of their belongings and then disappear, when the going gets tough and the tough get, I'm still trying to figure out what makes a high value person someone who just exists on the internet all day. Because I'm trying to tell y'all the amount of questions he was asking me about money, and I'm supposed to be a crackhead, right? According to him, he's Eve's crackhead ways. Every single time I got called a crackhead on that man's channel, it was because I didn't block somebody that didn't do something wrong. Do y'all know that? No, y'all was in the chat fucking laughing and, oh yeah, she a crackhead, she can't do the things. And I mean, it's not like the rules were hard, but some of y'all said shit that wasn't offensive. So then I would ask a question like, why do I need to block that person? What did they do? And then y'all hear him calling me a crackhead online. And Eve's a crackhead, and you just crackhead, all this shit. Shout out to the people who kind of had something to say about it. My man Joe, my brother out of Dallas. It's so cool to know some people in real life who had an issue with how that man was treating me in the chat, and I was so fucking stupid. Oh, it's okay, I did mess up. According to him, I messed up, but according to him, I also didn't mess up because I wrote down the rules, right? I write down the rules of the chat so I don't fuck up. I'm trying to do a good job. I like to do a good job if my name is attached to it. But, y'all would shout out Professor Black Truth, and I didn't know that was wrong. Especially if Professor Black Truth had just given him a shout out, the fuck, what they're trying to let you know something, but no, you can't talk about anybody else. If you do, then you will be banned because he's the authority, and it's just a bunch of shit, right? It's like, it's so,
This is the only school where you can get the information that you can use because I am the authority and I said so.
Major pain, 6 to 8 hours on the phone. Nigga, I'm sorry. I don't know if you're a dude or a girl. I'm sorry. Major pain. I thought that he had like stocks or something or real estate maybe, but this is just me making all of these assumptions based off of the things that he's talked about, because some people think he's a truck driver, all the driving he does up and down the fucking interstates and highways, and because he knows about all the gentrification and all the shit he sees, when really he's a coward and he doesn't like being on the plane. He is on a list, but I think it's a list of abusers. Okay, my dear sir, Mr. Payne. He businessman? No, he's a beta man. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding about him being a beta. I'm just kidding about my ability to sing, because I can't. I'm an instrument player, don't you know? But he, all the hours were a lot of me taking notes about things that he wants to do in the future. Essentially, I was a scribe of sorts. And y'all got to know at this point that my brain goes all over the fucking place. So can you imagine? Can you imagine? He would say that it took 6 to 8 hours because I always get things wrong. But nigga, if you have all of these devices at your fingertips, why don't you just hit record on your phone, say all the things that you need to say, and then don't even use Eve, right? But no, it's about the conditioning and the programming and making sure that I was plugged in a way that would basically mute my life. I kept having glitches because my life is fucking awesome. I've got beautiful children. I have a beautiful husband, and my dog is cool as fuck. I got a nice house, and my house is a lot nicer than that shanty that keeps pulling up every time you search Jeremy Lloyd Smith. I mean, that shit my house could eat his house, but he was telling me that you live in where, that's the hood. Yes, nigga, because I'm a nigga who likes the fact that I can gentrify, right? I think more people who have resources should be more gentrifiers than moving away from the people trying to take over the hood. Because like, if you just think about the landscape, the future landscape, if you just listen to the man for any period of time when he was Googling this information, you would find that the people who are gentrifying are moving to this area because it's on the up and coming. They have the resources, they can pay for it. But no, he wants to kind of scare y'all out of it. Most of y'all don't make enough money to buy a house right now anyway. But guess what? Neither does he. He'd be a first-time home buyer. So he would have to produce some evidence that shows that he's got some properties somewhere for me not to think that he's not on the first-time home buyers list. But I want to say that he only got that Denali a couple of years ago. Yeah, that spot that y'all can look, ask whatever AI you have, whether it's Siri, Copilot, Alexa, whatever, ChatGPT, ask your AI, who is Jason Black, Jeremy Lloyd Smith? Let me know what it says in the chat, because it was so interesting to see how information is able to get put together without any people doing it. Back in the day, a person had to get all of the evidence and then present it to the people for it to be something to pay attention to. But now you could just use technology. It's going to pull up all sorts of shit. And that 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom shanty with shit all in the yard looking like a damn Mexican lives there. Yeah, that's supposedly his spot, but I don't think it's what he bought. That might be a familial residence giving him a little tie to the land, because I don't think that nigga's FBA, if we just gonna be honest. I seen his hairline. I seen what he wears. I seen his grooming schedule and how he lives his life. I don't think he's FBA. That nigga might be Haitian. If you think about it, with all the flat blackness that was going on from the B1 side of things, I was always very clear about what Black first meant. Because how can you be Black first on somebody else's square telling them how to do anything? No, that's not Black first. Black first is on your square. And if you happen to be on somebody else's square, you better fucking take off them nasty ass muddy shoes before you come into my square. You don't get to eat up all the shit in my refrigerator. You don't get to come into my house any time of day. No, there's some rules and there's going to be some order. But, with Black first as prescribed by the broke authority, it's just whatever he says, because he said that he made it cool. And as a tool of the new Black media, I champion that message to an extent. But in real time, my damn cousins and people that are actually related to me who know more, they were not in agreement with this flat Black. And here we are, 2024, delineating, making sure that people understand that their lineage is how we get our debts paid versus this one big nigga that white people try to put on us. We're not one big Negro. It's a bunch of different Negroes. And that's why y'all try to say that we're not a monolith. No, we are not a monolith, but some of these practices and traditions that got us to 2024, that shit needs to probably continue to do the things. Because if it doesn't, then y'all retards will go and vote for Kamala and Walz. And these people are treasonous to our community. They want to unburden themselves from the burdens. And the only burden that I can think of is the fact that they will not pay what is owed to us. And I don't get it. I hope this is on the screen for you. This is well, I think this is a commercial. Yeah, here we go.
Professionals care about
Unmute.
your home.
Skip the ad.
When our children tell us who
I told you my dog is cool as fuck. So, sometimes you hear she don't like people. And yes, she bites. She got teeth. All dogs bite. Y'all are retarded. Okay. I'm gonna stop saying that before YouTube suspends my channel. Here we go.
when our children tell us who they are, it is our job as grown-ups to listen and to believe them.
It was an event that had all the trappings of a bill signing ceremony. A huge crowd of lawmakers, advocates, and families, in this case, gathered in support of legal protections for people seeking gender-affirming care for themselves or their children. But the paper Governor Walz signed was an executive order. His action comes at a time when transgender persons across the nation feel under siege.
This is life-threatening.
The Iowa Senate passed a bill Tuesday.
Those in favor of the motion shall say aye.
Barring doctors from providing puberty blockers, hormone therapy, or gender-affirming surgery to anyone under 18. Mississippi passed a similar bill last week, barring gender-affirming care. In New Hampshire, there's a bill that would require schools to tell parents what their kid's gender is.
We'll make sure that Minnesota's placed as a welcoming, loving, neighborly state where you are welcome and will be free of persecution or anything else that we're trying to see in some other states.
In committee hearings, GOP lawmakers have asserted children are too young to make decisions about gender.
These are damaging, lifelong procedures.
They've also brought up custody disputes.
If one parent brings a child here for gender affirming care and the other parent lives in Alaska, do you believe that that would be inconvenient for the parent that lives in Alaska?
Many states are asking their queer people to find two spaces that are comfortable, the closet or the coffin. And we are saying we are not going to accept that in Minnesota. In Minnesota, you can stay and live.
That's Lee Finke, who is the first ever transgender member of the Minnesota legislature. Her bill on gender affirming health care has made it to the House register, so it could be taken up on the House floor at any point. The Senate version is still making its way through committees. Back to you.
Back to me. Oh, you're so kind. Yeah, that's what you fools like Roly Poly would say. That's what y'all are going to usher in. But you're kind of already doing it if you are a parent who is subscribed to the business. You're basically saying that you don't want your rights as a parent because this man's energy and frequencies are going to be the resonating sound of your home. And then, oh my God, if you have a man like some of y'all in his chat, naturally cherry with your married self in the chat, throwing that ass at Jeremy, I wonder how your husband feels. I wonder does he know that you're in the chat like that, or does he not exist? Are you one of those broads who have a man who is working 1 billion hours a week and then Jeremy is taking advantage of that because you're lonely? I've been there. I know how it is, and that's a fuckboy way of operating. Because if he was really a pimp, if he was really a hustler, you would be honest about the things that you do. And you wouldn't have to lie about it. And the bitch that you want, she would do all of those things and more. But the fact that it took you 4 years of grooming me, and I'm Just Eve, I don't know that you a pimp. Nigga, I think you more of a incel. I think I'm just gonna have to just go with the incel because beta first, bitch made first. it's just not giving me the same satisfaction, because B1 is brilliant. I can't escape the fact that so many people are in the shadows of what all it is that they're participating in. But it's probably because more people only want to talk about the positives. Even if you're not going to talk about the positives, I don't want to know about it. Man, if I've ever had any respect for a person who said something like that to me in the past 6 months, I don't anymore. But I do respect the fact that, war and power, they kind of have the same rules. Nobody's going to give you anything. You have to fight for it. Plan to know what the outcomes could be. You can't be a piss poor performer because you didn't have proper planning. Study your enemy. Study these people who've been trying to expose my privacy, knowing that I have 5 children. Did you? Yeah, of course you knew that. You knew that. But in real time, I find that so many connections between what people say that they have problems with and then what they are absolutely accepting in their personal lives. The math ain't math, and it's probably because you are listening to a person who doesn't eat this, drink this, breathe this, live this, and is calling themselves the authority. Because here's what I learned in the past 3 minutes of Governor Walz's appearance on this news segment. He signed an executive order for transformers. Do y'all know what an executive order is? Here is what it is, if you didn't know. It's a directive issued by persons in charge, and it has the force of the law, and it doesn't require additional approval. So if a governor can executive order protections for transformers, then why the fuck are we not talking about these governors who could executive order our reparative justice? Why are we only talking about the president, who everybody knows the president can't do whatever they want to do? Okay, fine. Y'all keep saying that on the local level is how we actually enact change, but I don't hear these people that y'all are talking so respectfully of talking about this. No, it's a lot of circles and hoops and shoots and ladders and trickery and fake pimping, and just nothing's honest. So you'll have to excuse me for not tuning into your favorite Black media news anchor, because if it's the news, then you would be reporting on the things, not just on what you want to report on. So using Mr. Fuller's example of 9 people activity areas, it sounds like there are more people who need to talk about some things. I'm a person and I can talk about some things. So tonight I really wanted to make sure that y'all know that it is my duty to protect the minis from predators. Why? Because I could have easily been a damn predator if I had continued fucking with this fucker, right? I mean, because that's really what it is. All of these women with children, with this man who doesn't want children. Why do I say he doesn't want children? Let me show you something. A person who is for Black empowerment is not going to have all of these shows talking about this shit. I don't give a damn if it's his bipolar side or not. You don't eat this, drink this, breathe this, live this, and you talk about all this fuckery. The math ain't mathin'. So you're going to have to come out and tell everybody you're bipolar, you're schizophrenic, that you've got mental issues, and sometimes you say shit that makes sense and sometimes you don't. I don't know what the opposite would. I don't know how else you make the math outside of being accountable for your fuckery. But every Friday you go live about why men don't want children and why women are past tense or these women, but you want to focus on the younger women, like how we did for the Valentine's Day meetup. And in real time, we had 18 and 19-year-olds on that show. And I'm like, I guess, they're adults according to the government. And if they consent to doing this stuff, then go ahead. Because supposedly you're supposed to be giving them opportunities. But if the opportunities are just to suck your dick, I don't know if they would actually want to do that. I'm trying to tell you, the pimps, I don't think they have to lie. Y'all gonna have to go find me a pimp to talk to one of these days, because I've got to know, like, for my own sanity. Do pimps lie too? Because I feel like it is a double-edged sword. It's like Andrew Tate. He was very honest with the internet about these things, honest with other men about these things, but to the women, you can tell them that you're going to pay them something and take care of the taxes, pay them in Bitcoin and never have to pay any taxes. To the women, you get them pregnant and send them away so that the new crop of women don't know about what you just did. It's snake-like. And I guess I have a little bit of experience with snakes, because I guess Eve, she fucked up that first time, right? Listening to the snake. And I guess she fucked up that second time. But look, I guess if Eve out of the garden was able to have a conversation with you guys, and maybe she would say, I fucked up, but this is how you can prevent yourself from fucking up. And this really, tonight, I just seeing Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate having all of these issues with the law, and then watching some of these videos and just seeing the connections, I couldn't help myself. It seems very apropos to me. Because when Nature Boy was going through his shit and he went down off of revenge porn, it's like, oh shit, all of this was exposed because he couldn't keep his feelings to himself. He got a little pissy fit argument with his bitch, and then now he's going down for revenge porn. Like Rico type shit for revenge porn. And whoa, I know of some things that Mr. Black has participated in, and I don't know if the law would take too kindly to people trying to hide their money with other people. That the tax fraud thing seems to be a move for the government. Where do people keep their money? These are questions that I have, and I just find that I don't see anybody else asking these questions, because it's not positive. Either you're so negative. You're just trying to tear down a black man. Some of y'all niggas thought he was white, so fuck you very much. And to the ones of you who didn't think he was white, I'm questioning this man's lineage. I think that outside of Twitter just glitching on me, completely took it off of the stream. That's so crazy. Jeremy, you fucking with my laptop. This is the laptop that you were around, and I haven't had a chance to take it to Best Buy for the Geek Squad to check it out, but I just wonder if these issues I'm having on the internet are related to you. I know your viewership dropped a couple minutes ago, so it could be you. Could be you. Oh man, that is so crazy, guys. Anyway, while I try to get my Twitter back up and loaded, how about a video?
Andrew Tate's story is interesting to me for a lot of reasons. The first is because of how I met Andrew Tate.
Long time.
I know, it's been a very long time.
Very long time.
Actually, I met you downstairs at the Ritz.
Correct.
George and I were engaged at the time.
Yeah.
Candace and I met in December of 2018, and we got engaged very quickly after 17 days.
As I was having this dinner with my husband and his friend, Andrew Tate was there. I had no idea who he was. This is kind of before he really took off on the internet. I had my assistant at the time with me, who happened to be Romanian. She's born in Romania, speaks Romanian, happened to have been in the United States. She spent a lot of the time that we were there talking to him, right? They were having a conversation. She comes over to me afterwards and she says, this guy, Andrew Tate, I think he's a pimp in Romania. I said, what? And she's like, no, I think he's like actually a pimp in Romania. How long ago was your webcam business?
Yeah, so I stopped having any involvement with it. I think 8 to 9 years ago, I stopped.
Andrew Tate is not hiding exactly who Andrew Tate was.
I've had nothing to do with it for 10 or 11 years. It was a long time ago. It was at the early stages of the internet.
If you're a guy and you hold citizenship in America or in the United Kingdom and you decide to uproot to Romania, it's got to be because you can do a little more dodgy stuff in Romania. Digging back 10 years, I don't know who could survive that litmus test. Again, if you found Candace 10 years ago and you asked me about pornography, it's okay, this is 10 years ago. The content from 10 years ago is coming into play where they're saying, well, look, to even, they're conflating this now. So even though these charges are from, and I read the indictment again, 2021, look at what he said 10 years ago.
Everything from these old videos, old clips, my webcam company, things that happened 10 years ago have absolutely nothing to do with the criminal case. Absolutely zero. Anything you see from before 2021 has nothing to do with the case.
So I do want you to contextualize this video that has been circulating on the internet of you talking about the lover boy method. So we'll take a look at that right now.
Sure. You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You the girl. After you the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me. And this is me explaining how having a webcam company, it's actually a larger video as a whole. As I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work.
I believe that Andrew Tate was always upfront with all of these women.
I don't mention webcam. No one's going to say yes. And any girl who does say yes is doing it. She doesn't like you. She doesn't know you. She doesn't love you. She's saying yes purely for money. It's absolutely not criminal in any regard. There's nothing criminal about it. It has no bearing or any interest in the current case. Tax is also another important element of controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax to anybody. But you need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy and girls are stupid and girls don't understand how taxes work. So the girl's working with you and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we've made this much money, but I'm going to pay the tax to make sure we don't get in trouble. She'll sit there and go, okay. Now that allows you to do two things. One, it's another control element. If I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. So control element. Secondly, it allows you to pay her a smaller percentage.
And she comes over to me afterwards and she says, this guy, Andrew Tate, I think he's a pimp in Romania. I said, what? And she's like, no, I think he's like actually a pimp in Romania. Clearly, he communicated exactly what it was and whatever it was that he does in Romania to my assistant.
Shout out to Milk Bar TV as well for trying to get to the bottom of the things regarding the Tate brothers. And I just been trying to get to the bottom of the things regarding this. Well, you know, Jeremy says that he's the new black media and he always hated having to share the mantle, the title, the position with Professor Black Truth and Tariq and shit. So, you know, when I say the new black media, I'm referring to my tenure over with the Broke Authority. Because if he's the authority on anything, it's got to be on pookieing. Really, truly. I mean, as much as he talks about the pookie, y'all are not making the connection that this is this man's life experience. All 47 years of his life. Oh, yes, he is one of them old niggas that he warned you about. But y'all don't ask questions. So, you know, I understand why you don't know some of these things, but once they are presented to you what excuse do you have then? It's kind of like Candace Owens, because she's the broken clock that the Republicans like to throw out there. But the fact that she's got these problems is why so many of us are saying two wings, same bird, two wings, same bird, two fucking wings. It's the same damn bird. But no, y'all think it's at the tip, it's on the edge. It's actually not the bird, it's just the no. No, that bitch wouldn't be able to fly without y'all's support. Let's find out what Miss Owens had to say last year in January.
Andrew Tate's story is interesting to me for a lot of reasons. The first is because of how I met Andrew Tate.
Long time.
I know, it's been a very long time.
Very long time.
Actually, I met you downstairs at the Ritz.
Correct.
George and I were engaged at the time.
Yep.
Candace and I met in December of 2018, and we got engaged very quickly after 17 days.
As I was having this dinner with my husband and his friend, Andrew Tate was there. I had no idea who he was. This is kind of before he really took off on the internet. I had my assistant at the time with me, who happened to be Romanian. She's born in Romania, speaks Romanian, happened to have been in the United States. She spent a lot of the time that we were there talking to him, right? They were having a conversation. She comes over to me afterwards and she says, this guy, Andrew Tate, I think he's a pimp in Romania. I said, what? And she's like, no, I think he's like actually a pimp in Romania. How long ago was your webcam business?
Yeah, so I stopped having any involvement with it. I think 8 to 9 years ago, I stopped.
Andrew Tate is not hiding exactly who Andrew Tate was.
I've had nothing to do with it for 10 or 11 years. It was a long time ago. It was at the early stages of the internet.
If you're a guy and you hold citizenship in America or in the United Kingdom and you decide to uproot to Romania, it's got to be because you can do a little more dodgy stuff in Romania. Digging back 10 years, I don't know who could survive that litmus test. Again, if you found Candace 10 years ago and you asked me about pornography, okay, this is 10 years ago. The content from 10 years ago is coming into play where they're saying, well, look, they're conflating this now. So even though these charges are from, and I read the indictment again, 2021, look at what he said 10 years ago.
Everything from these old videos, old clips, my webcam company, things that happened 10 years ago have absolutely nothing to do with the current case. Absolutely zero. Anything you see from before 2021 has nothing to do with the case.
So I do want you to contextualize this video that has been circulating on the internet of you talking about the lover boy method. So we'll take a look at that right now.
Sure.
You cannot get a girl to work for you having fun. So the recruitment process is the same as the PhD course. You message them on Instagram. The PhD course is my recruitment system. I don't mention webcam until after I've had sex with the girl. If you're on dates and you're trying to mention it and shit, it just doesn't work. It puts them off. I'd never do that. That's disgusting. I'm not a whore. It's just not gonna work. You continue as normal, no mention of webcam. You the girl. After you the girl, you do the PhD test. If she passes the PhD test and she wants to be with you, then you start mentioning things like, yeah, but you know, you're always busy. You're always at work. You can come work for me.
And this is me explaining how having a webcam company, it's actually a larger video as a whole.
As I said, you cannot try and approach girls to do webcam. Hi, do you want to do webcam? It's bullshit. It doesn't work.
I believe that Andrew Tate was always upfront with all of these women.
I don't mention webcam. No one's going to say yes. And any girl who does say yes is doing it. She doesn't like you. She doesn't know you. She doesn't love you. She's saying yes purely for money.
It's absolutely not criminal in any regard. There's nothing criminal about it. It has no bearing or any interest in the current case.
Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax to anybody. But you need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax. Because girls are lazy, and girls are stupid, and girls don't understand how taxes work. So the girl's working with you, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we've made this much money, but I'm going to pay the tax to make sure we don't get in trouble. She'll sit there and go, okay. Now that allows you to do two things. One, it's another control element. If I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. So control element. Secondly, it allows you to pay her a smaller percentage.
And she comes over to me afterwards and she says, this guy, Andrew Tate, I think he's a pimp in Romania. I said, what? And she's like, no, I think he's like actually a pimp in Romania. Clearly, he communicated exactly what it was and whatever it was that he does in Romania to my assistant.
So, I mean, Candace is one of their biggest supporters right now, at least trying to dismantle the information that's been presented to the people. And when I say information, I mean, they're putting out court documents, and then you've got Candace and Fat and Fuck Myron and whatever the hell his name is talking about, you know, the Tate brothers being good guys and, you know, brotherly love, and just trying to put a spin to what's been presented, saying that it's old. But again, if the court documents are being posted, how are you niggas this dumb? And I don't necessarily just mean Black people. You know, nigga is a household term at this point. The amount of white cookouts, Asian spats, and Mexican gangbang fights that I've seen these people call each other nigga, well, it's just gonna have to fly. So the way these niggas operate, it just seems, well, you guys were able to see it for yourself. It's taking on the same characteristics of what you might have seen coming from the broke authorities camp. People trying to say that it's fake news. People saying, I've seen Jason Black and he is a light-skinned man, 6'4", 2% body fat. He wears contacts and what? No, that man is probably 5'7", maybe. I have really bad depth perception. I wear glasses and I can't see that good sometimes. But he's taller than me. But I'm not tall. 5'7" is a lot taller than me, at least to me. You know. So the way that y'all have bigified this nigga, you did it in the wrong way. You gave him height. You should have gave him weight, because he's about 272 pounds on a bad day, and maybe 252 pounds on a good day. But at 5'7", maybe that's a lot of weight, buddy. But he's out here telling bitches that they're too fat and telling you niggas to get to the gym and do all of this working out because you need to be able to maneuver. That motherfucker would, well, sweat profusely. It's so funny how he talks so much shit about Roland. I think Roland is in better shape than Jeremy. I'll let you know, after Tuesday, if, he's done some things with his situation, because I mean, last I saw him, he had the Propel bottles in the truck and he was eating the fitness bars and shit. And I guess he only really ate when I was hungry and it was time to feed me. So it just is given, Pookie. It's given. I don't really got no money, but I have to show this bitch that I have some money. So I'm gonna save it so that when she wants to go eat, I can spend some money. Yes, your YouTube donations are going to his trick account. Thank you for helping me get some of my money back, because as much money as I donated to this man's channel because I thought that he was Mr. Black Empowerment. I mean, really, my money was going to some bitch. Your money went to me. I mean, it's so strange that people don't have more questions. Major Pain, I don't know how much he weighs. He's a fat fucker. He got a big ass belly. He has a double chin and he's short. So if he's 150 pounds, that would surprise me. If he's 190 pounds, that would surprise me. That nigga gotta be at least two of me. And I weigh 135 on a good day. And, like on a bad day, I'm at like 130. This has been very hard on me to try to keep up my weight, eat, feel good about myself. Do y'all know how much gains I made in the past year to have all of it just be some shit because it was supposed to be the look that I was supposed to have to basically usher in a new crop of girls for this man. It keeps me up at night sometimes. And then I have to think about my minis. I have 2 girl minis, and damn if they didn't hear this man's voice for hours. It's programming. So here I am not letting these girls watch Elsa and Frozen, and I'm fucking them up even more, letting them listen to this nigga. What? No, it's past time for the adults in the room to do the hard thing, because pruning, the plant, I don't think the plant likes it too much when you start chopping off leaves and stems and branches and shit. But after, it's it has the ability to do the things that it was meant to do, produce the fruit or flower that it was supposed to do. It has an easier time doing it. Not that it can't do it without the pruning, but it is a little harder. The water and the sun going to pieces that don't need it, pieces that need to not be there. You got to cut that shit out, cut it off. But it is hard. It's the first plant you ever grew. You don't want to cut off the very big leaves. The big leaves show that you've done the things. And yet, the minis did say F him back then. But muting life, I'm trying to tell you, every time you heard me get called a crackhead was me glitching on the program, asking a question I shouldn't have been asking, paying attention to my family, because, why wouldn't I? They're my family. And then at the expense of my dignity, I guess. Tricking 101, how to make a bitch do everything she doesn't want to do and then blame herself for all of the fuckery when actually you're supposed to be the elder. Really, in the grand scheme of things, you're a whole 10 years older than me. Obviously, you would know a little bit more than I would, right? And if you did, it sounds like you would abuse the situation if you were forever an incel. But, these are just my thoughts. I am just Steve, and as much as I appreciated our sister Taisha joining me tonight, I can't put how I feel on anybody. Y'all feel how you want to feel. I am going to continue to speak up about the things that I see and protect the minis from predators, because if you support a nigga like that after knowing the things that I've said tonight, then I got to protect them from you too.